Happy Sunday, guys. Welcome to the Morning Spike. We're here where we talk about fantasy football. We give all advice. We talk about strategies. I'm here with Alec. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling super fantastic. I'm glad to be back. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's start this.
I can't get rid of him because it's just me and him.
Yeah, that's right.
Smart.
Mhm.
It's cunning. I like it.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Today we are definitely doing a dynasty draft. We're going to do is tight end premium. We have return yards. We're going to do that in about 16 minutes. Before then, I want to talk about a couple of strategies. Everyone's starting their drafts now. I mean, if you're doing dynasty, your dynasty rookie draft should be coming soon. Like,
Yep.
if not now. I'm doing one right now too. We're doing a slow draft. We're doing one right as we're speaking. What strategies do you think people should really know about, and what things should they be thinking about when they're drafting?
All right. So to start this off, one, this is like my favorite topic, by the way. So I could ramble on about this for hours. But strategies, when you go into a draft, you have to really think in the mind of what are your opponents doing? You know, because at the end of the day, you could come in with a million different strategies, but unless you have a keen idea of what people are doing, it kind of you can throw that out the window. You look at scoring, you look at the roster size, and you think, okay, this is the path I'm going to choose, and I'm going to adapt as followed. If players fall off of my board, not someone else's, but your board specifically, they start to fall, then you pick them up. You kind of got to go off of like the most valuable player, you know, that's available, not so much what ADP tells you. Because ADP right now is so funky, you know.
It's so weird. Like the things I'm looking like, I've done 3 drafts so far, and ADP is so off. I'm like, this is not what we will do. This is not what I'm looking at. What are you talking about?
So, but if there are draft strategies, for example, in this mock, we're doing a tight end premium and a RY, return yards, instead of just a normal super flex people are so used to doing in Dynasty. So with that in mind, you think, okay, what's a tight end premium? Okay, that's reasonably high. In this case, it's 1.25. That means tight ends get 2.25 points per reception. Okay, that's pretty good. That means I would love to have 1 or 2 top elite tight ends to set myself above everyone else. So you're going to evaluate tight ends higher than what ADP tells you, you know? And then with return yards, if you know anything about returners, that's okay. That's what I'm here for. That's my expertise. I literally have a list of 20 top returners with me and then 1 honorable mention. Because if I was doing honorable mentions, I would do that all freaking day. Like, oh, yeah, let's talk about Carter, the former Bears, of a returner. Let's talk about Chenault, who got cut by the Seahawks. Man, he was great until they cut him. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to just give you guys the draft analysis and give you the best strategy. So I guess for you, Byron, what is your bread and butter when you go into every year? What do you hope to draft with?
See, it depends. So the first thing I do is, depending on the league. So I need to understand what the league is trying to do. As you just talked about, we talked about tight end premium, talking about super flex. So I need to understand what's going on. Then I kind of go understanding how it is that I put my players at value. So like, as you said, the IDP, like ADP is so off. So you need to put a Q on what you actually like. Who are the people? How do you value them? And how do you like to run your team? I like to run my team very running back heavy. So those are things that I'm always looking at. But those are the scoring. So as you said, tight end premium, we have return yards. So I need to have receivers, especially. So you always have your top 1, 2 receiver, right? But your 3 and 4 will change depending on how the rules go. So now if I know that, someone who is a third receiver, but also gets yards, I'm definitely looking into that. I also look about position scarcity. Like how people are, some people, we don't have a lot of running backs, or if running backs are going to go far early, then you need to grab it early. If your QBs are 18 deep, they're going to be very similar, then why would you draft your QBs right away? just need to understand those things and just be flexible. So you can go in with one strategy and then go and have to get totally different. So that's really important. So those are the things I'm always looking at. And PPR, of course, PPR, whatever state of league scoring, you need to know that too. So,
yeah. Of course, that I agree. And this is PPR, just so people know. And then the only extra thing that I added, not that it changes a whole lot, not to go into too much of a data crazy fiend early morning, because we're here to have a good time, not a long time.
I'll tell them to shut up.
Yeah. But there's like also a half point for like points per first down, which really just benefits certain positions more. But it's really nothing. It's just good to have that in there for leagues, I feel like, because it gives that extra oomph to the players that are more of maybe not the big splash players, but the consistent, the volume guys. Those guys will benefit from that the most.
Do me a favor. I want you to put the invite for the mock draft into the comments. I want anyone who's in the comments that could jump into the draft. We have 3 open spots still. So if we can do that right away, I want to make sure we get that started.
The comments in the YouTube or the
in the YouTube.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to ignore the first guy, guys. All right.
First guy?
First guy, man. I want to ignore him. Forget him.
You're so mean. I like that guy. He's my favorite.
No. He's the worst. I guess second worst. I don't know. Second worst means I'm the worst, right? So Jamie's like, "What's up, guys?"
What's up, Jamie?
And he says the mock still looks like a single QB setup. Is that right? 100%. That's right. That's the way it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I be in the building. What's up? Appreciate you, man. Always. I was up all last night doing a Harry Potter watch along. I got everything, man. I do it all. I got the Martin, the man, the myth, the legend, Martin here. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. So Martin is getting all our stuff. He's actually running our dynasty draft that we're doing as a long draft right now. So I thought this was a good topic to talk about, because I made a move in the draft that most people didn't expect me to make, and I did it for a reason. So I'll tell you about that after our draft, or even during the draft that we're doing it. I'll talk about why I did that. Yeah, Kent's in the building. KTC in redraft, Gibbs, Bijan, Saquon. I should go Gibbs, Saquon, Bijan.
See, that's funny. For me, the consensus is Bijan. I'm more of a Gibbs fan. I always have been, just because I like his tangibles more. I care more about that. But Bijan, Gibbs, Saquon. Even though I got Saquon in the background, sorry, Saquon, but it's very hard to repeat being number 1 running back with no injuries the following year. It's very hard to do.
I will usually agree with that, but the line there.
No, I know.
Makes me feel like he's going to still. Most of that running is not him. Most of the running is still that line open up these huge holes, gaping holes. So that's why I feel like I like Saquon. I trust Saquon more than I trust Bijan, because Bijan disappears a lot. He disappears a lot, and for me, and I feel like Gibbs, even though he has Monty's probably a help to him. And he catches so many passes. I mean, I think this year I'm expecting Gibbs to give me 1,400 yards rushing. I'm expecting them to have another 600, 500. I think 2,000 all-purpose yards for Gibbs is in there, and the touchdowns. Bijan just doesn't score enough for me.
Well, hey, every year it's always different, But here's a.
You send the link yet? Because I'm still with Martin, still looking for the link.
Oh no, I sent it in the YouTube. For some reason it didn't. Like highlight it.
I know Kent's want to get there and Martin want to get there, so we need to get that link.
I'll try sending it again via my phone, but maybe it won't work for my phone. Let me try copying it.
Just copy it, throw it, paste it in there.
Yeah, I'll copy it from my computer. 1 second. Copy invite link. Let's go to YouTube. Look up Dynasty Pylon. Give them another view. Oh, wow. Gosh, guys. You guys should subscribe to Dynasty Pylons. All that jazz on. Okay, and I'll get that going. But real quick, what Eagles jersey am I wearing today? Can you guess? It is a running back, by the way.
A terrible one. That's what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna guess terrible. Is that right? Did I win? Did I win?
Yeah. You want a knuckle sandwich real quick? That's what you run. Hold on. Oh, whoops! Signed into the wrong account. That's funny. Whoops.
You took too long, guys. So I just sit it in.
There you go. Nah, go ahead. Why is signed in? I guess my lady used the PC last because I'm signed into her account.
So you're not in the right account. I got you. So I got the link in. So come say hi. Appreciate it. Duarte, good morning, everybody. Appreciate it. At the Fancy Football Tavern. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. So I sent the link, guys. We got the link in here.
It's Brian Westbrook, baby. Let's go.
No one needs Westbrook. Well, actually,
fun,
Brian Westbrook. So.
Fun fact: one of his best highlights actually was as a punt returner. I think it was his rookie year.
He was awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, awesome. Just talented wise, I loved him.
That is another thing too. To keep in mind, guys, some of the underappreciated returners will be those rookie running back, rookie wide receivers kind of guys. So definitely keep an eye on some of them because that's how Westbrook started. That's how Pacheco started. That's how Sean Tucker started. Just keep a lookout for that.
Well, I think that's why I always tell you to have a good idea of what people did in college. That really matters. So that is the link, guys. We are full to go. 4 minutes left. We're gonna go get started on time.
Yeah.
To AJ Dillon. No, it's not AJ Dillon. That would have been interesting if he had AJ Dillon already.
Oh, right. No, that definitely would not pop back to there. Perfect. AJ Dillon. It's funny.
Up, Albert?
AJ Dillon, not talk too much about Scott Fishbowl. It's probably someone that I'm targeting as a backup for Saquon because I think that would be kind of fun. If anything happens.
Real quick, he's not in charge. I'm always in charge. Remember that. He is doing this mock draft. He did make the entire mock draft, so I am not hating on him. I'm not hating on him.
That's what he brings me here for. All right.
What a Grant. Appreciate
the
you.
Professional,
Actually doing season.
Yeah, there you go.
If you have that jersey, you must be a family member.
Has to be. Oh man. So, what other draft strategies do you have in mind?
We only got a couple of minutes, but I do. Sure. So there's one, obviously, that you're highlighting getting your skill guys first, right? Mm-hmm. That's something that a lot of people do. It makes a lot of sense to grab all your skill guys immediately. Go along with that, and then you're looking for the best quarterback that's going to highlight your guys, especially if you get one of the skill guys into that your receiver and you get that stack. So if you could do that somehow, that's a really good position to be in. Now, dynasty wise, going with young guys always matters, right? But sometimes you looking for veterans that are going to be there for 5 or 6 years because you don't have to wait for them to mature.
This is true.
So you could also go very, very young. So a lot of people do decide to go very young really quickly. And they think that this first year is just out the window. I'm not worried about this because I'm gonna get a good draft pick next year too. So that is another idea. I think that's a great one to try. Another one could be just win now. I'm going to go get the best guys right now, and then when I win the championship, and then next year, I'll worry about rebuilding as I go along. So I'll get bad in 2 years, and then I'll rebuild, and then I'll come back again. And then another one would be go get my QB first and build my team around my QB.
Okay.
So those are all different things. Which one do you like the most?
Well, to me, the way that I like doing Dynasty, especially when we're talking about Dynasty, redraft's different. But for Dynasty, I like getting a lot of my skilled positions because those, I feel like with QB, because of the differences between the elites and then let's say QBs 5 through 10,
Mhm.
Like 5 through 10 are almost interchangeable with how much of a little difference points wise are. Points per game even are roughly within 1 to 2 point. Well, rarely ever is it like really 2 points because it depends on they mobile or they're not. That's a whole different discussion. But to me, I'd rather get those wide receivers, and I'm a bit of a running back guy because I know that running back ceilings are usually around the age 28 to age 30, and then they start falling off a cliff. So to me, I want at least 1 or 2 young guys there, and then if I want an old guy, I'll get Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry just seems to always just be the king for a reason.
You grab him and get 2 years out of him.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I like to build young in mind, but grab those guys that are those vets that they'll be so consistent to push you over that hump. So you're always competing every year. You're always at that chance to win the chip, not just someone who's building to win now. I like the idea of constantly building to where I am always going to be in the playoffs. I'm always going to be a chance to win it. Even if I don't win the first year or two, that's fine. I know that those young guys are going to pop. Running backs pop, usually by the age of 24. That's when you start seeing a huge push for them to have a huge breakout year.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, let's get this draft started, and I'm going to answer some questions while we're doing that.
Sure. All right, I'll get her started up because I have control. Haha, the Eagles fan. Let's
We'll
go.
get that. We'll get rid of him.
Hold on.
You gotta get rid of this guy.
Hold on.
It says, I have 2 QB questions for you. Daniels or Lamar? That's the first one. Jane Daniels or Lamar? I'm going to go Lamar. I think Lamar still has that double threat. I think Lamar being young still, was it 27 right now? I still think Lamar is number 2 overall QB, and no matter what you do. So I still like Lamar over Daniels. And Hurts or Burrow in Dynasty.
All right, randomized it twice, by the way.
I'm still gonna go Burrow. As much as I love Hurts a lot, I really, really do. I think Burrow has so many weapons offensively that I think that he has the edge. But I know a lot of people will go Jalen Hurts.
By the way, you're gonna be on the clock. I'm just letting you know.
All right, go ahead. As soon as we get started, I'm good.
All right, here we go. We're started. All right. Perfect. And then I'll look occasionally at questions too. And then, like I say, if anyone's got any questions about returners, I got the list for y'all. I'm prepared to tell you all about the greatness of them. And Jamar.
So what do you answer about the question? So we have Jay Daniels or Lamar for you. Which one you say?
Oh, Jay Daniels or Lamar. You know what? I did a report on Jaden Daniels, so I'll pay Jaden Daniels
over Lamar. Really?
Over Lamar. Listen,
I don't think you have the rushing upside in fantasy football. I just don't know if that has the rushing upside.
To me, touchdowns. To me, it's more like, okay, I think about when I can get either of them in a super flex. I feel like I'm not. I mean, to me, I feel like Jaden Daniels, maybe because he's a little bit younger. Lamar did have one season where he did get hurt. I mean, to me,
he's only a year younger.
Well,
he's older.
Lamar Jackson.
Normally, that would be the answer but Daniels was so old when he came in.
Yeah.
You know, there's only like a year apart from him, so that's why that's not even a factor.
Well, hey, one of them did get injured once. I'm just saying.
And the other one has 2 or 3 MVPs.
Well, no.
Make your pick first. Make
pick. Lamar Jackson's 28. Jaden Daniels 24.
25, I thought he's now.
Anyways, okay, so Jettis is already gone. That's a shame. So I could actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's go with Brock Bowers.
That's interesting. Tight end premium. I feel like tight ends are about 5 deep with really talented guys. So that's why, if I usually get Brock Bowers towards the end of the first round because of that.
I mean, and by the way, just to finish your last little bit, I'd be happy with either QB. You can't go wrong. This is just a matter of preference to me. I really think Jane Downs took a team that was not that great on paper and took them to the NFC Championship game.
We're talking about fantasy. We're talking about fantasy. Yeah. So fantasy-wise, Lamar scored 500 points more.
500 points more? That doesn't sound right.
Depends on which league you're looking at. Depending on how many rush, because it's the rush yards with the touchdowns, depending on your point system. It was a
Right. I just
a regular PPR.
Yeah, because to me, like I said, I mean, I play in leagues where there's also points per carry, so I know that both of them benefit that. Listen,
No, they
Lamar,
definitely.
Lamar and JD, you can't go wrong with either. It's just a preference at that point of where you think trajectory wise, what are they going to do to accomplish more? It's just like the same thing as, would you want Lamar or Josh Allen? Some people are going to say Josh Allen because he's been the most consistent QB at being consensus number one. He's been consistent at that. Lamar has the MVPs. I get it.
It's about 75 points.
Yeah. So
which is
a little bit off.
Which is still pretty. It's a big stand. A big. What's it going?
Well, keep in mind,
because understand. So Lamar, Josh Allen had 385. So between Lamar and Josh Allen, there was 50 points between 1 and 2.
Hey, that's fine. I personally someone who would still pick Josh Allen over Lamar, but that's just me because
I also pick Josh Allen over Lamar.
Yeah. So to me, it's that consistency thing to me. And
Lamar has still been MVP more times, so it's not like we're saying consistently.
Well,
really, he has.
If you ask me, one of those MVPs, I feel like borderline could have been Josh Allen, but
you can say that about even Josh's MVP because technically Lamar had a better year last year. You look at the stats, Lamar had a better year.
Yeah,
it's not even a question. So, but Josh had to win one because he could have won before. So it was definitely Josh's. So I don't argue about it because it's definitely Josh's turn. But Lamar had a better year.
See,
but he didn't deserve the year the because the stats were terrible.
But BC, that is the thing about MVP votes is that they're not purely based off of stats, and they shouldn't be. Now, if we're talking about fantasy football, that's different. We only care about those numbers like at the end of the season. So who's the MVP for that? That's something we do care about. But no, to me,
because Josh Allen had one more win.
It was because Josh Allen had a less talented team and he took them further.
Doesn't matter because Lamar's team is talented. Lamar's team is talented because of Lamar. Without you pull Lamar off of that team, they win 4 games.
Yeah,
and the Tennessee Titans.
And you could say the same thing about
take Josh off his team, they win 4 games too. So you saying that
they had a worse defense.
But you say they're taking a team further.
Yeah,
it's not really that. Josh has nothing to do with the defense. The defense worked well with the offense overall. Now, if you're talking about MVP, I look at percentage, right? So who had a higher
Anthony?
Who had a higher percentage or completion percentage? Who had more yards? Who had more touchdowns? Who had more rushing touchdowns? Who won?
Who's more consistent in the playoffs? Not Lamar. Not Lamar.
What are you talking about? Josh Allen was awful in the playoffs before.
What do you mean
his stats in the playoffs?
What? No.
Josh Allen. Time. It's just as much.
Lamar's been there more. Has actually made it to the AFC Championship with a less talented team.
So because he did it one time, you're saying, he's done
it Lamar has time. Come on now.
Josh Allen's been in the AFC Championship game.
Hold on, let me make a pick first, maybe before we go into this crazy. Okay, the upside's great. Oh, and just so people understand, there is no IDP scoring, so Travis Hunter is just treated as a wide receiver here. Just so y'all know.
My bad. I was ordering McDonald's for my daughter. Got you, man. I understand.
Yeah. Anyways, but no. So the real question is, when do you think the first returner will be taken?
I wouldn't even look into it right now.
Well, no, obviously not right now. But
let's go through some of these things. Hold on. The Eagles trivia. Which fantasy football analyst named the Eagles mascot Swoop?
Eagles trivia. Ooh. Which analyst named the Eagles mascot Swoop? That's a good question. I might not know that because even though I follow the Eagles, their players and their coaches, analysts, because he's been named Swoop for actually quite some time. The only person that I know of is our radio show person, but he doesn't technically count as an analyst. So I actually don't know. Do you have an idea?
I will go Palatonio.
Palatonio?
That's why I'll guess Palatonio, South Palatonio.
Interesting. So you want JT and Brees Hall.
Joe Pepe.
Joe Pepe. Nice.
Okay.
Man.
So Hurts would be better for in this format though, right? Half point PPR.
Or half point, for down. Yeah. Those kind of QBs would be, but I am not sure if I want to take. I mean, I could. I mean, Lamar Jackson staring me in the face right there. I could.
I wouldn't do anything right now. So,
well, that's you, big dog. We ain't talking about you.
Only someone who actually is better, so it's okay. Lad McConkey is way too overrated. He's not.
Lad McConkey.
If you do PPR format, Lad McConkey gets so many catches, so many targets. It's ridiculous, honestly. I think Lad is probably. I would probably rank him in the top 10, probably like 10. But his targets are great. And I think eventually you're going to see his receptions match his targets, because I don't think he had that those targets at the beginning. They were still filling out who's what. And by the time they got to the end of the season, they figured that out. I think you're looking at potential going into a draft like this. I don't think Lad McConkey is overrated.
No, Lad is really gonna go conky for fantasy this year. He's gonna explode.
Go conky. Oh, you so
bro, he is, bro. Shut up. Bro, no, he will. You should see the comments I've seen on Sleeper whenever Lad goes off like 100-yard plus game. Like, it gets like super funny, but I'm like, bro, who comes up with this? Because some of these things I'm like, bro, this is so messed up to say, but like, it's so funny.
People do that all the time.
Oh, no, yeah.
I have him wide receiver 21 in redraft. I think I have him between 10 and 12. I have him between 10 and 12. Going into certain things. So, I have him higher than like Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Mike Evans. I have Lad McConkey over him. Yeah. I have him like right behind maybe behind Mike Evans. Mike Evans I have higher. So I probably I have him right behind Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is so consistent. He's like my wide receiver, like, what is he? He's like 15 or 16 for me right now in redraft. He's just Mr. Consistent. He's like the best wide receiver too, because he's always consistent. You can never go wrong with Mike Evans.
I mean, Mike Evans is going to score. If he's healthy, he's going to score you a lot of points. And you basically could right in getting 1,000 yards. You're going to right in getting about 8 to 10 touchdowns. That's just what it is. And then he's going to have a game. He's going to do 3 touchdowns. He's going to have a game that's going to be nuts.
Well, what is amazing to me is to see Barkley fall to the 112. That's
100%. I think we were overrated, but there's reasons why you do that, right? Because you did have a big year.
That's a good pick.
Yeah. You have a big year, so why would you not?
Like those
underrated. But I understand the scare and the fear of it. All right, let's go through this draft real quick. So I went Jamar Chase. Got Justin Jefferson going number 2, Bijan 3, Brock Bowers 4, Genty 5. Before Gibbs, which is interesting. CD Lamb, Malik Neighbors, then Gibbs. That's a great pick of getting him 108. He averages 104.
108 is great. And in fact, I have for Dynasty, I have Neighbors over Lamb, which I think is going to piss off a lot of people. But that's probably
that's close. I don't think that's nice. I think flipping a coin. I think if you get a quarterback in there, then Neighbors could really definitely be over CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's going to probably score a lot more, give him a lot more wide receiver yards, and he's going to score more because Neighbors can't get into end zone as much. I think a lot of that has to do with just the QB and the balance of the offense. Then we got Amon-Ra St. Brown, BTJ, Puka then goes. Then we got Saquon. So Saquon the 112 is nuts.
How many
right after him?
How many targets a difference do you think CeeDee Lamb and Neighbors had last year?
With the injuries and the way the offense changed, I almost would think Neighbors maybe had more.
He did.
Yeah, I almost think that he had more, but it's because of the circumstances of the year. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised at that.
Oh, they're both that's crazy.
Neighbors was, it by himself. He was the only thing they had.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Only if he's not there, then I'll pick him. So the difference was 22 targets.
Yeah, it surprised me.
Yeah, and so to me, I'm like, if Neighbors just had a competent quarterback, but since he has like no one that is competition for him, you would 100% see Neighbors finish like as a wide receiver 1. If
CeeDee didn't have the problems he had, he would still be top 3. I have him outside my top 3, but I actually have Amon-Ra in my top 3 right now. That's probably surprising the most.
And there goes Harvey. That's a shame, but makes sense. Jalen Hurts, that's fine. I'm gonna grab some that just got left at my door. I'm gonna put it right next to it.
Go ahead. You good. Yeah. I am drafting right now, so Devontae Smith. I don't like that. I'll go TJ Warren. I think that's that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Even though as much as I like Colston Loveland, I don't think Colston Loveland is a good pick for this year. He's gonna be sharing a lot with Cole Kmet. I don't think that's a really good one. So
the real question is which one's gonna score more? What's not PPC? So it might be the side factor because I'm gonna have to let one of them go.
All right. So as I was going through, we got McBride went 202. Nico Collins 203. Lad McConkey 204. Then we got Josh Allen. Drake London, which I think is overrated, 206. Marvin Harrison 207. Jaden Daniels 208. Garrett Wilson 209. JSN 210.
That's a shame.
AJ Brown 211 and Breece Hall 212. Wrapping around with Jonathan Taylor at the first and the third round.
So why do you think London's overrated?
I don't think he can score. I think he's a very big body with tremendous talent.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous talent. I just don't think that he's what everyone thinks he's going to. He's been turned out to be. I think he's just, I think he's a trap. He's quicksand.
Is he?
He's quicksand. Like he looks great from the outside, and then he doesn't give you the points that you really look at him. You look at him and say, this is a top 10 wide receiver, and I don't see it. I would actually, I have Drake London. I have him pretty far down in my ranking. I'm looking at it like I have him pretty far down.
Setting up my board now.
I mean, most people had Drake London in the top 10, right? Yeah, I think he's quicksand. I just don't like him.
All right, here's one because I'm genuinely curious to see what your thought process is. Do you think Tucker Kraft is a top 10 tight end? Because he had a crazy good year last year.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nine. I have him 10.
So you do.
I have him 10. He literally is number 10. So yeah, no, yeah.
I was just curious because to me, I'm not kind of in on the extreme hype, because the one thing about tight ends, because we was talking about touchdowns when it comes to wide receivers and running backs. And, it's so volatile. You can't guarantee it, especially with wide receivers. Well, with tight ends especially, you can't guarantee that unless that's the team's number one target. Like back when it was Kelsey.
It was Kelsey. Yeah, when Kelsey was it. I think Trey McBride is going to be it's a touchdown machine.
Yeah,
they look for him all the time.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
But where I'll stop.
But to me, I look at Kraft the same way that I looked at Knox for the Bills that one year where he went off for a crazy amount of touchdowns. And people were like, "Oh, you gotta get Knox. He's a touchdown magnet." I say no. So that's why for me, I don't have Kraft as a top 10 tight end, even in Dynasty, because to me, one good year to me doesn't tell me anything, because it's mostly based off of the touchdowns he got, which was 7.
No, it's also be based on the fact that you have a young quarterback that looks for the middle of the field, and you have no wide receiver that's overwhelming. You have a whole team total of number 2s. Everybody on that team is a number 2 wide receiver. Everyone.
And also they have Josh Jacobs who
runs the ball. So if you run the ball, you run with the tight end on the field, your tight end becomes more of a threat. You have a young quarterback who's going to look at the middle of the field, look for that guy. I feel like he elevates it. And saying top 10 is huge and saying anything. It's because we got Brock Bowers, we got Trey McBride, George Kittle, Sam Laporta, Hawkinson. Then you're looking at, okay, where am I going to probably put Travis Kelce now? I don't believe in Jonnu Smith. Mark Andrews. I don't believe in Freiermuth.
See, and
I'm going on young guys.
See, I prefer Freiermuth over Kraft, but that's just me, because I think, especially with now a rookie quarterback coming in there that they drafted, and also they drafted Will Howard. Yeah, they drafted Will Howard.
Will Howard's never going to play. Will Howard barely played at Ohio State.
He took him to a championship and they won. Come on.
No, now. Oh my God. They were going to despite him, not because of him.
They won out to spite him.
Despite him.
He was good enough.
He's awful. I'm a Big Ten guy. He is probably, they had 4 other guys that are better. Okay. And they all left to go to other teams, and they all did well in these other teams. They all did well. So Ohio State has that, right? So they'll bring 3 guys in, and
they also have Aaron Rodgers too, who I think will be also pretty nice.
No, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a good year. I think it's going to be his final year. I think he has a good year, and he may get injured at game 15. I don't think if you're waiting for him to play, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to draft another guy. I promise you that.
There goes Addison. Sad.
Pittsburgh Steelers are going to draft another guy. There's just no doubt in my mind for that.
It's almost time. Ooh, it's almost time.
Anthony says, I don't think nobody has Drake London in top 10. He said Drake's not top 15. You'll be surprised.
You'd be surprised, man. I've talked to so many people who say, oh, Drake London's going to explode. Again, you know what's funny? Who was it? It was one of the guys on Fantasy Pros said, Joe Mixon is gonna explode because look at what he did last year, when it was only because of 3 games where he posted up over over 35 plus points. It was because of those 3 games, and then the next year he dropped back down to I think it was like a inside running back 12, which isn't bad, but people are like, oh, he's gonna be RB2 overall, blah. No, that's why for me, for London, I don't see him being better than a wide receiver 15. I just don't. Anyways, now
I understand that. Yeah.
Wow, there's these guys. Y'all don't make this easy. I swear, it's like so many of these great. You know what? This would be such.
It's obvious that these are people that are aware. These are smart pickers, and they know who to stay away from. They don't fall. They're not falling into the traps.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean,
I agree with Martin. Will Howard sucks. I've watched him play for a long time. I actually pay attention to college. I document it. I have notebooks full. Will Howard is not good. He doesn't have the tools to be an NFL quarterback. I don't know if he has tools to be a backup quarterback. I'm not sure yet. I think Will Howard, matter of fact, Will Howard would probably be on the practice squad this year.
All
He'll
right.
be on the practice squad. Mason Rudolph will be the backup quarterback.
Here's what I think. If anything happens to Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I feel like you have a good argument to say with Rudolph being the backup. I think that's a pretty fair argument. You're on the clock. But to me, all I'm saying is that for rookie QBs, their number one target is typically, unless it's a wide receiver that they went to college with and they have a great rapport with, is usually the tight end. That's all that I'm merely saying is that if you have a young quarterback, they typically love tight ends first. Again, until they build some great connection with the wide receiver group. So that's all I'm saying.
Wrong. I just don't think that he's going to be
playing at all.
Yeah, I don't think he's even going to make the team.
I think he'll make the team.
Even there's possibly that I think he's going to be on the practice squad, and he'll be the emergency quarterback, the third emergency quarterback that comes in. But that's where he belongs. That's where he always belongs.
There we go. Finally, says someone took Monty. I was like, man, Monty was staring me in the face, and I was like,
no, there's no question. I was going to grab Monty. I was looking the whole time that everyone was going around. I was like, oh, well, my third running back to be Monty. That works.
All right, I'm on the clock.
Yep.
This is a interesting predicament to be in. So I think I will do. Sure, let's go for it.
Okay, so you really believe in Evan Ingram? Evan Ingram has definitely had
100%.
I've had Evan Ingram for years before everyone liked him. I've had Evan Ingram, the Evan Ingram that was with the Giants. I had Evan Ingram when he was with these other teams, but he was not producing the same thing. I think he was great with Lawrence. I really liked him with Lawrence. I don't know what Bo Nix is going to do.
I can tell you what Bo Nix is going to do because, again, to me, no one, I swear, when I talked about Bo Nix last year, everyone's like, nah, he's not going to be a top 10 quarterback, his first year. No way. Look at, he doesn't throw the deep ball a whole lot, this and that. I'm like, yeah, but he looks like a Drew Brees in the making with the way that Sean Payton wants to run an offense. So to me, he's going to target the shit ton out of Ingram. He just will. Ingram's going to have a lot of targets. I mean, him and Sutton both will just eat up every bit of targets. There's no one else there, and
I'm not sure if I agree with you. And not that you're totally wrong. And that me saying you're totally wrong would be me being wrong, right? I'm saying that he's going to. I think Sutton is going to have 125 targets this year.
And I could see Ingram having 125 targets.
I think Ingram will be third on the team with targets.
Who's going to be second?
I think RJ will be second.
So you think that the running back is going to outpace the guy who's a target back?
100%. And he's only been a target magnet when he was with Trevor Lawrence. Like you're looking at, he's been in the league for about 8 years. He's been in for a while.
He was on the Giants. Who did they have a quarterback that was actually worth a damn?
Daniel Jones only could throw to close targets. So I'm not sold. You just said you're not sold on 1 year wonder. And I'm going to tell you that I'm also not sold on that yet. I am sold on Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is going to be a very
He also has rushing upside too. That's another great thing about Bo Nix.
I agree. I think Bo Nix is almost Josh Allen in the way. Like I'm not down talking Bo Nix in any way. I just think that you actually have talent, a lot of talent that's there, and that's the only thing that kind of puts me away because I think Harvey's going to have a lot of targets. I think out of the backfield, I wouldn't be surprised if Harvey gets 70 targets and then 280 rush attempts.
So then you're not worried about
run heavy
the rest of that backfield. Then
I think there's going to be so much running that they're going to all have a few touches, but Harvey's going to be the main guy. I think they're going to be very play action heavy. I think they're going to be very much what the Saints were, right? Drew Brees being under center a lot, using the play action to his advantage, giving Bo Nix even more time, and then now looking for Sutton, who's like going to be very much like a tight end, and that's why I think Evan Ingram gets less because their wide receivers are very much like tight ends already. So, but I'm not saying Evans is going to be terrible at all. I'm not trying to tell you that. I still think he's going to be this outstanding star.
Yeah, no. To me, I just look at him as a second target machine because unfortunately, the way that they like to run that offense, my boy Marvin Mims, who is
he's too deep of a threat,
freak athlete, he's only good for the deep ball. That's the issue, and that pisses me off so much. If they just schemed around him and get him different freaking routes, dude would be a top 12 wide receiver. But no, we have to freaking use him as only a deep threat. It's so frustrating.
Martin says, "What about Will Howard? Doesn't matter when he's not even going to sniff the field. 100%. He's not going to sniff the field.
That's fine. I was merely saying that as a rookie quarterback. That's all I'm saying, Martin. That's all.
But yes, rookies like tight ends. Of course, all young players, all young quarterbacks love tight ends. They like to have their tight end right there with them because it gives them a safety blanket, and they don't have to read the entire field. They just have a guy who can get away. And that opens up so much. So I agree 100% with Martin saying.
You know what? I'm going to be greedy and wait more around to get that guy.
Random news, LeBron James opts in for $52.6 million. I think LeBron James might only have a year or two left in him. I think he's trying to get wait for his son to come in. And that's it. So but once that happens, then he's out.
Or just get the guy now.
Where is he going, guys? Where is he going? I know he likes Tyrone Tracy, which I don't think that
it's funny because my cursor was hovering just over him, to be honest. But
I think he's overrated.
Yeah, well, hey,
I worry about him. That's why I worry about him.
It's okay to be wrong some of the time,
You know more than anyone.
All right.
I think Reed is a good one. Reed is a good.
Oh yeah, I know. I was debating because he's the actual wide receiver one on that team, even though there's a bunch of twos. But like he's the most consistent. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to. You can actually argue. There's points where you can argue that any of them are the wide receiver one, and that Golden could come in and be the one. So like, you can argue.
One second.
Go ahead. Gotcha. All right, so it's my pick, guys. All right, so I have 3 running backs. I have 2 wide receivers. Wide receivers getting real dry real quick. But I think I'm going to get my stack with Kelsey. And
all right. Travis Kelsey. All right.
After that,
I say that I'd take a shot with that.
I'm going to go here.
Oh, I really like this too.
I'm going Higgins.
All right. Now I think I should just go for it because I know that's Dynasty, and this would make way more sense. So we'll see. Unless this guy wants to snipe him. If he snipes him, then that would be pretty rude of him to do.
Anthony says, nobody trusts Kyle Pitts, I see.
Of course not.
Can't. Just like, once again, another guy with all the talent in the world, right? But you look at him, you're like,
it's like getting manipulated for years by the same person saying, oh no, don't worry, I've changed. Look, we have Penix now. It's different. Look, I promise I'll be good this time. Don't fall for it.
Don't believe the hype, man. Nope. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on 3.
Perfect.
Fool me for 8 years. That's just a different story altogether.
So what do you feel at the 9th round picking likely when there's other starters I could have taken? Do you think that that's a great pick for Dynasty or no?
100%. I think it's a good pick. Though Mark Andrews is not old. Everyone thinks people say he's old. He's not old. I think likely is going to be on the field no matter what. They can run with the running back. You can have one running back. You can put 2 tight ends out there. It doesn't really matter what you do with the other wide receivers. I think that's really interesting to do that. I think likely will take over in 2 years. I think Mark Andrews gets over 30. I don't think it's going to be a full year because they can't trust him. Once again, you have to have a running back, right? The running back that has to get blocking. Likely has to learn to block. Until he shows me he could block, I don't trust it. But I do believe he's going to, when Andrews gets over the hill, he's over 30. You have to rely on Isaiah Likely. And he might be that Baker Mayfield in the 9th round. Oh my God, that's fire. Fire.
Yeah,
Baker
no,
Mayfield.
oh my God. That is great in the 9th round to get him there. So that's stellar. And actually, as I look at Boomer's team, I see BTJ, Brian Thomas, excuse me. Yeah,
BTJ, Nico Collins,
Nick Hunt, Josh Jacobs, Laporta, Worthy, interesting, Cook, and Swift, solid RB2s, and Chris Godwin coming back from injury. But hey, if he turns out to be great, then that's great.
And you have the stack, right?
Yeah. Actually, how many of us have a stack? It looks like obviously the Commanders fan, shocker, as Daniels and McLaurin. Shocker. Bo Nix and Ingram with me. Obviously, we just mentioned him. With Godwin and Mayfield. Who else has a stack here? That
I got Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey right now.
Oh, you do? Oh, nice. For the 1 year. For the 1 year.
So I already have my good tight end, right? Now for the 1 year, I'll keep Kelsey on and just enjoy that. That's Brian. You draft my tight end. I was looking at for him. My bad. Lamar Andrews. Yeah. Jamie got the Lamar Andrews, which is good for points. It said, sir, first of all, I didn't draft Jaden. The computer did. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, then
remember he said his daughter was getting her McDonald's? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. There's still some good running backs here, actually. Some really good running backs. Ooh, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing with my next 2 picks. I don't even care. This is going to be
I think you have a lot of
league upside winning here.
You have You have
perfect. Let's go.
Guys, you're hoping are coming.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's get the first guy who I'm a big believer in. And oh man,
all right, we're gonna watch and see what he does because I'm gonna talk real bad about him.
Go ahead.
I feel like this is it.
I just want you to know that this guy I'm picking, he literally in the fantasy playoffs for me, he scored every single week over 35 points. Every single week.
Okay.
Tajay Spears.
Okay.
Because you got to remember, he does kick returns. Sure. He does kick returns, and he's very good kick returner. So him having that upside and splitting carries, and if they have Tony Pollard full carries with kick return, dude's a monster.
He's really good for playoffs, not during the season. But even he's like Charbonnet. So this is a perfect time to get him. He's like the same play with Tracy, Charbonnet. I mean, we see Aaron Jones, Tajay Spears fits 100% in what you just did. So like, I'm not going to badmouth that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I was debating Tony Pollard because he actually has been quietly a pretty steady running back that people don't give him enough attention for because everyone's always like freaking out, like, oh, the 1 year he was on the Cowboys, we were expecting him to be this giant leap of a running back, but he wasn't.
Even though everyone should have known he wasn't going to be that.
No, he's not that guy. But as an RB2, RB3, I mean, pretty late this year as an RB2 if you're waiting that long to get an RB2. But I'm just saying, oh, Bella, I just let you in there. Now you want out? Are you crazy? Dogs. Dogs are just crazy, man. Is he still there? He is. You know what?
All right.
I'll wait till I take this pick, and then I'll let her out. That way she can come say hi.
Said, Fancy Football Tavern says Spears was other choice with Warren and Taylor.
Yeah, no, that's
makes sense to me. Yeah.
He doesn't need no freaking ACL in his one knee. Come on now.
Whatever. ACL's overrated. Martin says, I don't think it's a shocker. I think it's smart to recover from the auto draft and the pick make it better. Yes, 100%. You made it is what it is. You got Jay Dales, and then you go ahead and find the stack to really accentuate what you did. So like it might have been a mistake, and then you recovered. That's what it says, to be flexible. Things happen sometimes that aren't under your control. So only thing you can do is be flexible and try to fix that. And I think you did a great job at doing that, Anthony.
So with my next pick, I'm going to go against my better judgment as a Eagles fan, but I think it's time for me to hop on that train and say, how about them Cowboys? Let's get Turpin, baby. Let's ride.
You're going real big, real hard with these
returners.
return specialists.
Freaking lootly. You kidding me? Dude was #1 returner last year overall with over 900 return yards. And he was one of the few that actually scored a touchdown. And let's not even forget that this is 0.25, all right, for kickoff and punt return.
Yeah. All so, right. But a guy, a wide receiver that gets 400 yards, and a couple touchdowns actually would still do better than that. Yeehaw! So, that's what I'm saying. So, if you're looking at him, you're looking at other wide receivers. If a wide receiver has our average is less than 400 yards in a season, then yes, Turpin is probably the better pick because Turpin's probably gonna get 250 to 300 yards receiving, along with 1,000 return yards, right? So that puts another 250 onto his yardage, which puts him at like 550. So yeah, I understand what you're doing. I just feel like you already have a guy like that.
Yeah, I have some years, but it doesn't hurt. It does not hurt to have multiple star returners. And in Dynasty, it's actually more apparent that you be very picky, because in redraft or keeper leagues, I could pound my chest and tell you, hey, you should get this returner because he's going to be a league winner kind of guy. In Dynasty, you should only pick the guys who are going to see some playing time and are going to do returns. So Spears, Turpin, Mims, Rashid Shaheed. I know he hasn't gone yet, but I don't care. You want those guys because they're going to get playing time as well. And they will for years. Plus, Turpin might even play running back here and there for the Cowboys. They've mentioned him taking snaps with the team at running back.
Yeah, I think Shaheed is much better overall for me. I would have gone Rashid.
Oh no, I definitely agree with you that Rashid is better as an overall returner. However, for me, I'm looking at
and as a wide receiver. And as a wide receiver, so he gets you 700 to 800 yards receiving, along with the 200 extra yards you're getting from the receiving. I'm from the returning. That almost puts you almost as a 1,000-yard receiver. So I think he has a higher value, especially if I already have a running back that does that. I'm looking for a high wide receiver.
He is a higher, but like we've mentioned on previous shows, our big issue with Rashid is not the talent; it's who's quarterback.
Oh man, well it doesn't matter. Someone's going to throw it, right? Somebody,
someone's going to throw it. If they get the ball deep enough to him, so someone can do that, because
they ain't got nobody else.
Man, I mean, hey, they have Chris Olave, who's one concussion away from forgetting his own name, so
that's my point.
They got him.
Rashid Shaheed actually.
Actually, no. The number 2 on that team would technically be Alvin Kamara, even though he's a running back, technically, because he gets a lot of targets. So, if anything, Alvin Kamara could have a better year this year than he did last year because of those facts of having a worse QB. Because they're going to dump it off more to the running back. So who knows?
It's a great pick. Dude was efficient enough to get Henry off the field a ton. Team is much better. He is very high on my board. And I think it's about Tajay Spears. I think that makes 100%. Where you got him made sense. As we said, I mean, Charbonnet, I think he should have gone right after Charbonnet, my opinion. Right. Between him and Pollard, that's really what you would decide, because each one of them have their ups, and actually, I think Tajay Spears, because of the receiving, because the returning yards probably should be higher. So yeah,
that one's more of a risk. This one's not a risky pick though. This one's pretty nice. I like this one. Jordan Mason's really solid.
Yeah, if they trade for somebody, they're going to use him.
Yeah,
and plus has to be kind of be phased out a little bit.
Yeah, I was debating that and between a certain tight end that I do enjoy, but the problem is that he's not a tight end that is extremely great as a route runner, and so that worries me. He's good at blocking, but not as a route winner. So it's like he'll get you good targets, and he's a good sleeper pick for like a high-end tight end. But if we're talking about Dynasty, there's a good chance this team could draft a tight end in the following years and then push him out, and I don't it's a riskier take in Dynasty. In redraft, I love this guy more, but that's why we'll see. If he falls to me in the 14th round, then maybe I'll take him.
Oops, that's what I meant to pick.
Yeah. Now remember, don't be dropping on these picks, like a certain Quentin Johnson,
Let's see. So my next pick is a gamble.
There we go.
All right, I feel you.
Bren Strange was that guy.
Mims for the return yards, and that makes a lot of sense. And then if he does catch, actually Mims is better than all the guys we just talked about. So that in that aspect, so I like what you said.
Do y'all want another spicy pick?
Another one we're going to argue about? Yes. Okay, here we go.
But all right, hold on. But before I do, let me let my dog out because I got 45 seconds. I got time.
Come on, auto draft. Come on, auto draft. Jamie says, "How do you feel about Kyle Pitts as the team's only tight end so far in a start two with premium?"
This man.
Good question. I like that question.
This man needs no introduction because he's still fantasy relevant in a split backfield, catches passes, and of course, if you look at him as a returner, if you looked at it, yes, it's true. He was a stud before he got injured. I give you Austin Eckler. Let's roll.
I'm not even sure he's going to be on that same team.
He is.
Not his team. I think he's going to play. I think he's going to get you points. I think he'll get yards. I'm not sure he's going to be there. I think that someone might trade for him.
Fun fact, from a return perspective, thanks to his return yards in my league, he was on track to finish as a top 10 running back.
Whoa, that's
okay. Because of the return aspect.
Then you were putting way too much on the return. You're putting way too much on the return. No, that doesn't make any sense. He's not even close to the top 10 running back.
Well, that's the thing, is that he also was getting carries, catching passes. That's what I mean, is that you should only pick returners who aren't just always purely doing returns. Pick the guys who occasionally will see the field, like a decent amount of snaps. And Austin Eckler.
What I'm saying is that if James Conner, if Chase Brown is bumped off by Austin Eckler, then you have too many points on return.
Chase Brown? Well, keep in mind.
So you understand what I'm saying? If you're doing that and Chase Brown is below you, then you put too many points on that. That's way too much. If Bucky Irving is below Austin Eckler, you put too many points on that. If Chuba Hubbard was below him, then you put too many points on that. You know what I'm saying? Actually, like that's where it is.
Let me check for you actually for that league. What the running backs
ranking. Yeah. Jamie asks, how do you feel about Kyle Pitts as the team's only tight end so far in the start two with premium? I think for me, Kyle Pitts is a top 16 tight end. He's about 16 for me. So when you're talking about starting two and you're in a 12-man league, Kyle Pitts, it has to be someone. I think Kyle Pitts actually gets start. He's not going to get you all the points you want, but he will get some yardage. And there's not 20 other guys that are better than him. We have 12 teams. Everyone's going to start two tight ends. Right?
Rondo's a great pick.
I don't think that you're going to find 20 tight ends better than him.
Okay, so I just found it. And so here were the top 10. Actually, I'll go down to the top 12 because this is where it's relevant. One was Saquon. Second was Gibbs. Third was Henry. Fourth was Bijan. Fifth was Chase Brown. Sixth was A-Chain. Seventh was Josh Jacobs. Eighth was Bucky Irving. Ninth was Kyron Williams. 10th was Jonathan Taylor. 11th was Alvin Kamara. And just in front of James Conner was Austin Eckler.
Over Chuba Hubbard.
Yep, because Chuba Hubbard was ranked the 16th because other running backs ahead of him were Joe Mixon, James Conner, James Cook.
Yeah. I think you got too many. That would be my argument with my GM. I was like, look, no, you can't be running running a league where the Bucky Irvin and Chuba Hubbard are below Austin Eckler. No.
But Bucky's not, though. Bucky finished as a top 8 running back, though, in that score.
Okay, but Chuba Hubbard then.
Chuba Hubbard, I mean,
Chuba Hubbard almost had 1,200 yards. He had almost 1,200 rushing yards. There's no way that should work. He had 1,200 rushing yards. How many touchdowns did he have? I just don't know. I'm going to guess double digits. 1,200 yards, double digits, and you tell me Austin Eckler is higher than him. Nope. We're going to have our.
Well, here's what I will say. Austin Eckler on offense alone, he had a total of, it looks like, about 750, and then for return yards, he had 600. So as a
Austin
returner,
Eckler on yards, on rushing yards, he
was close to 750 in total yards.
Total yards. Austin Eckler had 367 rushing yards, 366 receiving yards.
Yeah, so he was close to.
No way. I would be.
And then 600 in total return yards. So that's why I mentioned, Bella, we gave you food, sweetie. Let daddy make a pick first, and then we can talk about it.
I would be livid. I would be like, ain't no way hell.
This would be, ooh, man. This
Mooney is about 12.4 is a steal. He'll score closer to the 6th or 7th round wide receiver than that range, and has at least 2 or 3 years of solid play left in him on that team. Love him. The team loves him. All right, Darnell Mooney, every team he plays on loves him because he's such a good player, person, and he blocks. He runs his route accurately, and he's a perfect second to third wide receiver.
Yeah. I thought about Fields there too, but I thought, man, there's another quarterback that's pretty solid that I could get here instead. But no, I just realized I'm going crazy with running backs. That's crazy. And also, no, that league has a return yard premium because it's based off of the new way that they do kickoffs. That's why the scoring is so high there. Because
I'm like, 0.25. You tell me that, I am.
No, so
fighting.
But 0.25, I think 0.2 to 0.25 should be just the gold standard for return yards because it values returners as fantasy relevant to a point to where for later rounds you could stash these guys, get them, and then put them in your starting lineup. So if the rest of your league mates will let you get away with it, that's on them. That's on you for not realizing the returners actually have great value.
Yeah, I'll just be right. I'll be laughing. I mean, yelling at the person who's running my league. We will be fighting about that, not about the actual, way to draft them, because you need to know the rules. That's not exactly. That's the first rule, right? That's the first thing I said. You better know your rules when you're going into it.
I mean, I make that abundantly clear to people too. I'm like, hey, these are the point. Look at the scoring. That's a big thing, guys. When you join any league that has anything unique about, whether it's return yards, tight end premium, points per carry, points per first down, read up on it, do your own little research, look up the database on returners and what they average, yada, yada, and understand that even if you take a returner that's really good, you got to understand that returners are the hardest position next to DBs, or I should say cornerbacks in particular, to gauge on who's going to be the top end guy unless you know for certain that they have playing time. And in a league like mine that has PPC and return yards and all these other different scorings, you should know that a guy like Austin Eckler, an example, every time he touches the ball or catches the ball, he's getting at least a point for the catch and then 0.25 for the carry. So you're getting all that extra on top of the return. When you realize the scoring and you follow it, you can build a roster that for some people, they'd be like, oh, this looks like trash. But for the scoring, you're beating everybody. And that's why
I pay attention to my rules.
That's good. I'm glad.
And I'll be arguing immediately. I'll be like, whoa. And I make a big stink about stuff. So that'll be like the whole thing. I'm like, hey, no way in hell.
The one honorable mention, and the reason why I took Austin Eckler there was actually to also make a point, was the honorable mention for returner was going to be Debo. Even though people are making fun of him saying he's fat and all this and that, he doesn't look athletic out there. Technically, late in the season for the 49ers, he was doing returns, and he shot up immensely for whoever drafted him all the way back and whatever.
His punt returns are really good,
Yeah, so and that's the thing. Also, if you're gonna do return yards, guys, for your leagues, like I said, start off with your 0.2 to 0.25, or do kick returns 0.2 and punt returns 0.25. Reason being, you can look it up. Kick return yards compared to punt return yards, what happens more? Kick returns by a huge number. And in fact, the only similarity
You get more
punt
yardage in
return,
kick returns. Yeah,
you
get
do.
more yardage than that.
So that's why I think that you can either make them same or make them a little bit less when it comes to kick return.
All right, let me read these comments. Hold on.
Sure.
So hold on. Hollywood Brown's not the second wide receiver on the team. That's wild. Depends. Let's just see what happens. You know, and that's one thing you're taking guys with high upsides always. This league we're mocking is a start 2 tight end 100%. That's why it matters, and that's why you can put Kyle Pitts higher. Is Kyle Williams and Trey Benson for a 27 a good trade? 14-team super flex.
Ooh, 14-team. I love hearing those words. All right, I know who my next pick's gonna be. Anyways, sorry. So his question was, say that one more time.
Kyle Williams and Trey Benson for 2027 first a good trade. Which one are you getting?
Yeah, that's what I want to know first.
You know,
first.
But without us knowing, you look to say which side would you think this is good on?
Well, I am a big fan of freaking Trey Benson, so I like that side a lot for a 2027 first. I don't even know if that's an early first or late first and mid. I don't know none of that, but I'm a big fan of Trey Benson. So,
my answer is normally I wouldn't do that, right? Normally that would be something I wouldn't do, but I think that's a good it's a good trade. You know, you have a number one and a possible guy who's going to take over.
That guy's
but it's a possible, and you have a 14-team super flex for a first round. The problem, I guess, is it's such a deep team, so trading 2 guys that could be number 1 running backs eventually. Both of them could be. I mean, Kyle Williams already is, and then Trey Benson could be. It's hard for me to do. I would definitely probably 2027 first round pick with the quarterbacks that are coming out the 2027. I don't know if I could turn it away. I just don't know if I could turn it away.
Malik Washington, let's go.
He's such an ass. I don't think I could turn away because of what's going on in the 2027 draft. Being super flexy and the quarterbacks are going to come out of that.
Mm-hmm. If you want my list of returners, I can tell you that there's still like 12 of them left. If you want to take a swing on any of them, you know. Okay.
What's up?
All right, that's fair. Yeah, and I picked Malik Washington because he does returns, but also because once Tyreek Hill leaves, he'll be the next guy in line, and he is a beast of a wide receiver coming out of college. So I know that he'll do both still because they trust him as a returner.
Okay, so let's go through these comments. So answer this, please.
Sure, I got you. What do you got? Oh, the current question. I thought I already did.
So you doing it or no?
Oh,
yeah, didn't answer.
If I'm getting those guys, yes. If I'm not getting those guys, then no.
I'm yes on both. Yeah, I definitely want the 2027 first round pick. I think that's going to be amazing.
See, if it's an early first, then yeah, because I know exactly who I'm going to get in 27. 27, it's either going to be Ryan Williams.
It's Kyron. I know. He's a Kyle Williams, but it's Kyron.
Right. But for 2027 draft, for my rookie draft, I would get like Ryan Williams or the guy from Ohio State, what's his name? It escapes me. What is it?
Or the kid from Michigan, too. When you look at 2027, you got a lot of quarterbacks that are really, really good.
You do, but I personally want either Ryan Williams or that guy from Ohio State, that wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah Smith, I think.
Jeremiah Smith, that's unbelievable.
Yes.
But that's if you're top 3.
Yeah. So,
but being super flex, you're going to have a lot of quarterbacks coming out that are going to be able to change your league. So having more bites at the apple in the first round in a super flex, I would do it because I don't. Kyrie Williams is someone I think someone's going to take over eventually. Personally, I think they're going to take over personally. Trey Benson, I also think he's going to end up being a top running back, but you still waiting for that. So, I would take the 2027, especially if I have a good team.
Except Jamie, I did know that. I just couldn't remember the last name.
So yeah, you can't have your league ran by return yards. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like, nah,
but
I
it's
would
not,
be
furious. But it's not though.
I would be. I'm like,
just
no,
I understand if you want to do all the guesswork and understand how hard it is to actually get returners right. I understand.
No. So I understand, but 0.2 is fine. That's not even a question.
0.25 is fine.
Once we have someone who's going too far, that's when I draw a line. Like, whoa. These good running backs still deserve, because they have so much more playing time and so much time on the field. The actual game still matters, not just what they're doing on the return yard. So I don't want to lessen the importance of what you're doing in 40% of the game. I don't want to lessen that by saying these return yards, which is you're guessing and you're trying to figure out how it is, and it's not gimmick because it's definitely part of the game, but it's not the important part of the game. I don't know if I want to have someone who rushes for 300 yards ranked higher than someone who does almost 1,200 yards, especially when they do 10 touchdowns. That's where I draw the line.
Then we can make the case for Rashid Shaheed, for example, a guy who does see the field religiously and 100%. Also does return yards. So it's like,
I don't mind with because we have return yards. I don't mind the return yard thing. I think that's ingenious. I think that's a really good job. I just don't agree with it going over. I don't want Rashid Shaheed to be having a higher ranking than DJ Moore.
Except for
I'm saying? I don't want him higher ranking than Nico Collins. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's where I'm like, that's not working for me.
We make the same argument whenever we talk about Superflex or tight end premium, whenever anyone messes with the scoring. And let's say Superflex is like 6 passing TD, then everybody's like, oh shoot, we got to load up on quarterbacks extra because that's 6 passing TD. Same thing if the tight end premium is like 2. Oh shoot, 3 points per reception. We need to load up on tight ends like crazy. It's the same song and dance.
No, it's not, because they play more offenses. Honestly, when you really break down the game, it's 42% offense, 42% defense, and special teams has become a lower and lower tier. But you're putting special teams higher than it really is in the real game. So I always want fantasy to still mirror the real game, and that's my only pushback. I still want, because return yards still matter. It does, and it need to be a premium. I just don't like it being like 0.3, 0.4. That's where I argue.
I actually, because I've played around with it for years. I mean, I've done kick return, punt return for now a total of 6 years, and I have so much data on it. And what I can tell you is, if you're going to do a premium is anything that's 0.3 and above. But I tell people never do 0.4 or higher at all, period, because it ruins fantasy football. Because
I think 0.3 does, but that's me just having a different gauge than you're saying. I'm telling you, I'll never go over 0.25. I'll never do it, because it puts it to a different point. Because 0.3 is now saying it's a 33% of the game, and it's not really. It's strategy wise it is, but it's not really the game. The game it's really more like 20% of the game in the actual game part of it. And that's why 0.2, 20% of the game. You understand what that's where I am. Once you do 0.3, you're taking the importance of what's going on in the field for more parts of the game, and that's where we're arguing over whatever. But that's just what it is. Jamie is saying, "How do you hate London but take Penix over Lawrence? You must really hate BTJ and the Hunter." That's interesting. Giving up a ticket to the insane high end for the draft cast, it's a hard no for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. To me, it's like, because I already know that there's so many great wide receivers coming in from that draft that would be great. I'm just more so wondering, where in the first round am I getting it?
But super flex, you're now adding all of your top ends. So like your first round, no matter what, is going to be a high end guy. No matter what, even if it's 12, you're still going to get someone that's really pretty good. and over running back that's going to be going down, I still would go. Not taking the 27 first would be insane.
Yeah, no, it would be. Give me
the
first. Give me the first. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting the 27 first. So we know what you're doing. You're doing it right.
Okay, yeah. So if you're getting it, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love the assets you're going for, but I love the 27 class indefinitely more. 100%. That's exactly where I'm at.
I mean, it's a pretty good deal for it.
It's probably mid to late first round still. So can imagine Alex,
if it's mid, that's fine.
6 to 12.
Yeah, I mean 6 to 12. Well, to me, 6 is still in the middle. So for me, I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy if it was 1 through even just like 1 through 8 or 9. I'd be happy with that because I know I'm bound to get the guy that I want, and then come later on, maybe the following year. See, like to me, it's 2 years down the road. You can always trade more to get those earlier picks if you really want them for earlier first rounds. So like to me, you have more wiggle room if you have that 27 first already. So
but you're not just one, it's 2. So like you have your pick plus another one. So like that's why I'm getting an extra bite at the apple in that year where there's a great class coming in. So that's why I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait a second.
I get it.
Isn't it Kyle, not Kyron? Oh, if it's just Kyle Williams, never mind. Yeah, I'll definitely take the 27.
Oh yeah. Well then, yeah.
Not even a question.
I think we were thinking of 99 of the best name, Jeremiah Smith.
Wide receiver Jeremiah Smith.
Hey man, him and Ryan Williams, I absolutely love. And I got onto the Ryan Williams hype train once I saw his game against Georgia. Mm-hmm. Dude, it was crazy. Like, how's a 17-year-old doing that, man? They just embarrassing people. That was awesome. But no, Jeremiah Smith, he's also in a wide receiver factory team. Yeah. He's in a wide receiver factory team. Like, it's great.
Only 7 likes for this great gentleman. Chat, please help the boys out. We'll appreciate that, guys. Please do. Are you guys going to look at the teams? Yes, 100%. Yeah, that's why I was trying to go these comments quickly. Sure. Yeah. And so, what about Zay Flowers for 27 first?
Or 27 first. Yeah, 27 first. Yeah,
27 first. Yeah. You can take it here.
Love Zay, but
give me 21st first. 100%. Yeah. All right. Let's run through these teams real quick. Let's go with Andrews first.
Ooh, okay.
All right. We got Jay Jettas. We got AJ Brown. We got Hampton. Hurts. K9. We got Golden. Waddle.
Loving
here.
The trend
Pitts looks good. Juwan Jennings. Mims, which is another interesting because it's supposed to talk about return yards.
Mm-hmm.
Ramondre Stevenson, which I don't know how long he's going to be starting running back. Strange. Al Jair, which I love Al Jair, but he just doesn't get the time, but I love him. Kwanku and Dowdle. What do you think about this team?
Oh, I'll tell you right now, the first 11 picks I really adore. I think it's really freaking nice. Getting Hurts in the 4th round, great. You're in 1 QB strat, which you can totally do, and even in Dynasty.
Pick up somebody later.
Yeah, you can always pick up someone later. I like that you got Walker, just second running back. He is like the golden child, I feel like, for a high-end RB2. Just always has been. People want to say he's RB1. Like, nah, but he's back end. Amar and Hampton, as we know, way back in like last month when I said Hampton was my number 1 rookie running back coming out of college, but that was before landing spots dictated things. That was way before. Now we know where they all are at. So I love that.
You're still on a very run-heavy team.
I know, for sure. So, again, he could do great. Golden, I actually really do like. I just hope that he's not just another wide receiver, too.
That's what he is. He's just another one in there in that bag.
So,
throwing the bag up. Which one am I grabbing today?
Shakir, I like the pick because he is always a good value pick. I feel like wherever you get him in drafts, he's just getting better and better every year. Kyle Pitts, we've already talked about Kyle Pitts. So, hey, maybe Penix will finally break the Kyle Pitts curse. Jennings, I love. Mims, I love for the returns. That's great. And he does see the field again. No reason to do that. Stevenson, I feel like at this point he's going to be a backup probably by halfway through the season. But, if anything happens, to Trayvon. There you go. Brent Strange. I only get a little bit worried just because of, the route running thing that I mentioned earlier. But if they don't draft a tight end in the next 2 years, you're looking at a guy whose upside with Trevor Lawrence could be a top 10 or better fantasy, like sleeper. He's a sleeper pick for now, but you never know. Algier, love it. Unfortunately, he's got Bijan in front of him, but he still gets carries.
He does get carries.
He still does.
Still do.
Yeah, no, he still does. Not the biggest fan of the Tennessee Titans tight end, but they just drafted Cam Ward. Yeah.
We'll see.
So you never know. And then Dowdle, never been really high on Rico Dowdle, but
he's going to get the carries. So having someone the last pick of the draft or someone who's going to get carries, I think that's good.
This is a very overall well-balanced, solid team that kind of follows the normal formula of going wide receiver heavy and then getting your running backs here and there. And he actually didn't really take advantage too much of the tight end premium, which is interesting.
Yep, that was be my complaint would be. I think you could have went harder with your tight end. Like you could have probably grabbed, Tucker Kraft or Loveland or even Evan Ingram before I would got Waddle. Because I think you did such a great job at the beginning of your draft with Jefferson and AJ Brown. Get AJ Brown in the second round as that turnaround that is unbelievable. I agree with Golden. I think Golden's going to get you probably somewhere between 900 and 1,100 yards. I think that works. I probably went a tight end instead of Waddle because you could get Shakir and then you could get another wide receiver a little bit further, maybe a older one, even Keon Coleman, where you got Kyle Pitts. So like. That's just me. Wherever I want to even stay with Kyle Pitts and then go for upside wide receivers because you already did with Mims, which I think was a great pickup, especially in this when you have receiving yards. Dowdle, I think, just does work because he's going to be fighting for the starting running back, and anyone who's going to have carries looking at that is a good pickup just to have. A professional running back at your last pick is just a smart overall pick. So I like it. I like his team. I think you look like the top end running back and a little light in tight end, but besides overall the team is good.
Yeah, I don't mind the running back too much, but yes, I do.
It's a little light. That is not.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. All right, who's next on their chopping block?
So real quick, so if we had a few more rounds, I would have taken a QB2 and more back at running backs. Gotcha. Exactly what I was thinking. So look at my team right now. So Keon Coleman sucks ass. Will never do that. Keon Coleman has high upside still, and he still has a great quarterback. He's running routes for. So you never know when he's a big body. You can grab him and end up having someone, really talented. You never know. He is the doofus though. So it is what it is. All right, let's look at Anthony's team.
All right, here we go.
So we got Ashton Genty, Jaden Daniels, Derrick Henry, Terry McLaurin, Ibuka, Devontae Adams, Cortland Sutton. We got Ridley, which is another. That's a slick pick. You guys don't even understand how many targets he gets. We got Ferguson, Aaron Jones, Williams, who's probably going to be fighting Dowdle for that starting running back in Dallas. Hunter Henry. We got Robinson out of the Giants. We got Tavion Sanders, I think it is. Matthew Stafford and Romeo Doubs. I like Romeo Doubs being at that last pick. I think that's another good pick.
Oh yeah, for the last pick, if you're not gonna take any upside swing on any returners or if you care for another QB or whatnot, that's fine.
I mean, you got Matt Stafford and Jay Daniels.
I know. He is fine at quarter. I'm just thinking with my last pick. I don't know. To me, I guess I'm not the biggest on Dobbs, but it's not bad for a last pick.
No, for a last pick. I mean, you already have McLaurin, Ibuka, Devontae Adams, Sutton, and Ridley, and Wan'Dale Robinson. I think that Dobbs is fine. That thing, he can end up. Any of those guys can end up being the number one wide receiver for any week, and that's the problem. You don't know which week it's going to be. But having them there, it works.
I feel like for next year or two, running back might be something he'll consider getting. Because Genty will be a beast. We already know that. Pray he stays healthy. Henry,
Got
He's
2
a
years.
beast.
Got 2 years.
Exactly. You've got 2 years with him. That's fine, which should be enough time for like young, talented like wide receivers here, like Mbuka to start emerging by then, because that's in a crowded wide receiver room right now. But who knows what will it be like in 2 years? He waited a lot later for the tight end, so it looks like he's going for. Sometimes in tight end premium, you'll see this where people will wait to get mid-tier tight ends because of the premium being so high at 1.25. It actually will boost them up. So Hunter Henry could sneak into like the top 5 tight ends, which sounds crazy, I know, but there's always one tight end that's super late that just comes out of nowhere. That was Jonnu Smith last year.
Mm-hmm.
And Ferguson, I actually like the Ferguson pick for there. He's a good mid-tier. So I like that. And he went for a good try and true. I have 2 very good running backs. I have a great quarterback. I got a great stack with McLaurin. I've got old and young wide receivers mixed in. It's an overall solid team. Outside of like, a top end tight end, which he didn't really care for. And then running back is the only major concern I have, because Williams and Jones, I don't know how often they're going to be consistent.
Aaron Jones is still going to get you some yards. As long as he's not hurt, that he's going to
be that's the
starter.
only concern, because he is now currently 30 years old. So he's hitting that age cliff for running backs.
100%. You have 2 guys. Well, you have Aaron Jones has 1 more year. I think Williams, you don't know what it is, but you took a swing with there. You have 2 solid guys there are going to get you a lot of points. I would have went 1 more running back if I could. I also would have went, instead of going Hunter Henry, I would have went for Zach Ertz as my stack with Jane Daniels, because I think that would have been overall a better pick for you. I think you still did fine, but if you don't have top end tight end on the tight end premium pick, I always go with the stack, because you get the extra points go along with it with the tight end, especially with the touchdowns. And Jane Daniels is going to throw a lot of touchdowns, so I would probably look that way. Running back, once again, I think that you probably could have went 1 more running back. Even I don't like Tracy. I probably would grab Tracy too. Like I feel like you could have.
Finally, it's about time.
I don't like him, but I'm looking at Warren. I'm looking at Tracy. I would have grabbed another one just because I want to. If I'm not going to have a lot of young ones, I'm going to probably go 5 running backs in that case. But overall, I think you did a good job, Anthony, especially recovering from auto draft with Jane Daniels. You probably didn't want to give him so early, but you recovered and you got the right stack with McLaurin. I think they're going to have a great year. I think you did a great job. All right. You pick the next one we want to go over.
All right. Only because he also is in love with fantasy football, and because he also has his own show as well. I want to go all the way to the 11th spot here. And we're going to start talking with Puka Nacua as his first pick, and then Trey McBride in the second round in a tight end premium dynasty. Great value to get him there. So we got Puka, we got Trey McBride. Travis Hunter, even though there's no IDP points, who cares? For wide receiver 2, that's not bad. I love the Judkins pick in the 4th round. That's such a great evaluation for him in the 4th round. He'll be a great start. In fact, he's your only running back really that you have. And then Chris Olave, one concussion away from forgetting his last name. That's fine. Williams, I think, is a great addition. He's finally emerging, and I think the last year he was one of those sleeper wide receivers no one thought was going to do great. But if the ones who did pick him as sleeper pick, my God, he did good. Josh Downs, love him for 2 aspects. One, he's a beast of a route runner, probably the best route runner there in Indy if I really had to put my money on it. And he's a great at receptions, and he does what? Punt return. So he also gets punt return upside. Crazy good at returns. In college, he was their number 1 returner. And then Ricky Pearsall, love the upside swing. Warren, good mixture back. He'll get a few carries here and there. He won't shine yet, which is a shame, but it is what it is. Then you went for Taylor, not bad. Go for the rookie because you already have a beast tight end, so you can wait for Taylor to fully develop. And then he went heavy for quarterback, Kyler Murray and JJ McCarthy back to back. So interesting with it not being a super flex. But hey, you do what you got to do. And then you got Garundo, love the pick. I think he is going to be an absolute beast. And he does occasionally, because the way 49ers do their returns, they do a rotational return where it's based off of their opponent that they're playing. He is a guy that they've considered doing returns because of his athletic nature. That's why you saw people like Debo last year late in the season go into returns, because Rondo was starting to get carries. Then Neal take the upside swing. Eventually Kamara's going to have to fall off the brakes, right? And Royals, not bad for your second last pick. And then Bryce Young. So interesting that is he the only team who took 3 QBs and a 1 QB? I think he is, isn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, there weren't a lot of great picks at the end, so I'm not going to talk about that or worry about that as much. I was letting you go through the names real quick, but I thought that you actually did really good as far as your overall wide receivers. I like your wide receiver. I think Puka Nacua is going to get you a lot of receptions and touchdowns, and Trey McBride is probably the best. Besides him and Bowers are going to be back and forth as the best wide receptions versus in touchdowns and target on tight end. I love what he did. I love you then going to Kyler Murray and grabbing him. So now that's a high end stacking the tight end premium. So you did a great job. So I disagree with you saying going 2 quarterbacks back to back is the bad, because you did it in the 11th and 12th round. I think that's fine. You went for Kyler Murray, and then you went McCarthy, who's more of a project, but you're not worried about him because you're going dynasty. So because this is a dynasty draft, you're thinking about the young guy that goes along with it. So then going in the last round, getting another quarterback works because it's a dynasty draft. And then also you're looking at the other guys that are going around that don't have all the quarterbacks that you're looking at. They're going to be coming to you. So you're going to be able to do those things. My worry for you is the running backs. You got Judkins, who is great. But then who? Everyone else are they going to even play? And that's where you're going to turn around Bryce Young. For Bryce Young in a lot of fantasy 12-man leagues is going about in like late first round, early second round is where Bryce Young is going. And if you can get that type of recovery, or you get another decent running back, Chuba Hubbard, a Chase Brown, something to that, even Joe Mixon. I mean, to that point, now your team turns around. I worry about what you have now. You need to think about having another running back that could get out there, especially because you got to start them. So
I mean,
it's an okay team. It's just you got some spots that you got to worry about.
Yeah, it's mainly for me. It's just mainly running back because if Judkins gets hurt, then you're
tight end too. Tight end too.
Yeah. Right,
you have 2 tight end, and you don't know what Taylor's going to do yet.
That is
when
true.
You have to start them, that's the worry. So
that is true. No, you're right. And there's nothing wrong with him taking 2 QBs back to back. It was more of that I thought it was interesting, with it being 1 QB. But no, I like it. So, but you're right. He's probably going to trade McCarthy or Young for something like a running back and a tight end. Like best case scenario, he can get a decent, maybe a decent Young tight end like a Kincaid, and then another running back, which you can plot your field for whoever you want.
I agree. I agree.
Overall solid team.
Yeah, but we all have holes. So is anyone else here in chat that want us to go over their team before we look at anything that we've done? Just checking out if anyone has anything.
It's so weird not having Mark here with us. Because I would love to talk about his team, because I'm sure his team would be very interesting.
Team 10? I got you. 1, 2, 3,
Team
4, 5, 6, 7.
So Team 10 has
and Boomer. I like it. So we got BTJ and Nico Collins.
Stud.
Josh Jacobs, Sam Laporta, Xavier Worthy. Interesting. James Cook, Swift. I think that's a really smart pick. Yes. Godwin, Mayfield, the steal of the draft.
Yeah. He only needs 1 quarterback. He's fine.
well, you probably need to go get another quarterback. And you're someone I was looking at Kendall's team. I was looking at your team when I was saying you need to offer somebody. Myers and McMillan, Najee Harris. So that's what I'm saying. You can get Najee Harris or a Tank Bigsby. You got Zach Ertz here. You got Dalton Schultz. So he has 3 tight ends that can score points. So when I'm talking about this draft, you can trade Najee Harris and Schultz to get a Young or McCarthy. You could do that, and now you have the two quarterbacks, and you still have 2 tight ends. I love 3 tight ends on your team because there's going to be a bye week. So you did a great job. Bigsby and Douglas being your last pick. I just like your team. I think it's very balanced and very, very smart. I
This is
like
a
it.
great dynasty team overall, and he literally hit on what I've been saying. Outside of returners, he literally just looked at the scoring and said, "All right, I'm just do this and follow the scoring and follow what I know about dynasty." Literally getting 2 studly wide receivers and then a stud running back, and then a great young tight end who everyone last year before the season started was like, oh, he's going to be like tight end one like almost every year. James Cook and Swift, great for their value for you getting them because you're getting solid, efficient runner in James Cook, probably one of the most efficient runners in football right now. And then you have Swift, solid, Godwin, and again, Godwin with Mayfield, chef's kiss as long as Godwin's healthy. Mayers, I actually really like Mayers. So for where you got him, solid. I love that you got Zach Ertz where you did because I think I was looking at him. I was vaguely looking at him for hopefully getting him in the 13th round, but that's fine. That was great. And Tank Bigsby, he's finally starting to come out. And Schultz, again, tie in premium, it's great. Then you got Douglas, just because why not? That's a very solid team.
It's a good team. And honestly, I said this trade thing, but the truth is Jared Goff is still out there, right? And you pick up Jared Goff with Stan Laporta, and you're winning. You're winning. That's your backup quarterback. If you grab him off the trash heap,
I see what you mean.
You're going to be a genius. This is a very good team. It's a very good draft. You knew what you were doing. And when I said people are doing a great job with that draft place, I was specifically talking about you. That was really good.
Yeah, that is a team that is a competitive team, and borderline. You could say, "Oh yeah, this team could potentially win it all." But that's what I love. That's how I love to build a team where you're always competing, where you could always win it. It's much better than just going the super young route and just hoping that by year 3 or 4 that you are going to win when you don't even know if the league's going to survive that long. So yeah.
All right, let's go James' team because I think is this Jamie's? I don't know which one's Jamie's actually. Which
team are you?
Jamie, let us know, so we can know. So I want to go over it, but yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll go over.
Then we'll do our teams really quickly.
Yep. Sure, why not?
Real quick. We'll hammer him. Yeah, that's mine. It's 7. Yep. Okay, cool. We got Malik Neighbors, Drake London. Okay, you know what I said about Drake London. Travion Henderson, Lamar Jackson in the 4th. Good job. Yeah. Then you got his favorite target, Mark Andrews, Pickens on the high end, Njoku.
Yep.
Burden, I think it's a little early, but very good for Dynasty because he can turn into something great. Brian Robinson, got Tootin, we got Ferguson, Arroyo. That's Kyle Williams, the wide receiver. We went Bryant from Denver. Trevor Lawrence and Roshan Johnson. You went high end. Roshan is probably going to be your number 2. So I mean, I guess that's a good depth piece. Yeah. So go ahead and tell me what you think, Alec, and then I'll go through.
Sure. All right. Neighbors, love at the 107. I would have, again, I debated taking him at the 104. That's how good I think Neighbors is going to be. We're talking about a guy who on the low end of a bad season should be 150 targets. And that's quote unquote asterisk bad season. Stud. Again, I think his upside is wide receiver 1 for years to come, as long as they get a competent quarterback who will throw him a ton. And then Henderson, love it. Drake London, I'm not fully sold on him, but as a wide receiver 2, you never know. Maybe Penix will turn London into an absolute beast like CJ Stroud with Nico Collins. Who knows? Lamar Jackson, love where you got him. Mark Andrews, great stack because he's under contract for at least 1 year. Maybe they re-sign him, which throws off my team for getting Likely. But hey,
Likely's still going to be okay.
I know. Yeah, that's the thing. Likely is still going to be used.
They don't have great wide receivers, so don't.
Yeah. And then
Pickens, almost a wide receiver, really.
Pickens, I think where you got him is perfectly fine. I'm not the biggest on Pickens, but I'm also not heavily against him. He's kind of like one of those like middle of the pack wide receivers for me because because Lamb's there, maybe it opens up more opportunity for Pickens because he won't have to be competing for the wide receiver 1 role like everybody thought he was going to be the wide receiver 1 last year. And then Njoku, I don't mind it. Tight end premium, solid round to get him in there. I like it. Luther Burden, I agree. Too early, I think, to get him. especially in that room when there's already two other amazing wide receivers. I feel like it's hard to evaluate Burden when you have other people you could pick there. And then Robinson, not bad.
For the Bo Jackson bloodline.
Yeah. And then Tune, I like Tune. I'm curious to see how Jacksonville uses him because he's a rookie. Maybe they'll use him in returns. That would be interesting to see. Ferguson, another rookie tight end. I noticed that with his two rookie tight ends, he's shooting for the upside of my two main starters for years to come. Hopefully by then, Ferguson and Arroyo start coming into their own, because that's the thing with tight end, just like with defense.
It takes about 3 years for him.
It takes about 3 years. Yeah, it takes about that time. So that's fine, because you can probably get 3 more years easily out of Mark Andrews wherever he ends up. And then Kyle Williams, not bad, because it seemed like the back half of his draft was heavily more so on the younger side outside of, well, I guess technically Lawrence is the tool. How old is he?
25, 26.
Yeah. So it seemed like the back half was most focused on, I'm going to get young. Top half, it's still going to be young and some old vets that are great. This is a solid team. This is definitely a competitive team. I'm a bit worried about some of the running backs.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a competitive team. I don't know if you actually have Henderson's your number one. Yeah, but Henderson's your number one running back. He's going to be splitting time, and I'm not sure he's going to be the starter right off the bat. After that, I think he takes over mid of the season. I think you're going to be good in the middle of the season, but I'm not sure that that's going to be great coming out. Brian Robinson is going to be a number one, but he's not really a number one running back type of guy. So you're really shaky on running backs.
Oh, sorry. Continue, and then I'll say.
I think you're really shaking on running backs. I would have went, look, if you're going to go that route with running backs, I'm going to go start loading up on running backs. I'm going to go a little bit more because even though you have 2 tight ends, I would probably use one of those tight ends as a running back and went very heavy on that end. Roshan, another guy who was injured all year and is going to be competing with another guy. So I would have went a little bit more, with guys who Najee Harris might be someone I would have grabbed. Tajay Spears would have been another guy I would have been looking at. Those are guys I would have been thinking about from the beginning, saying I need to get some more guys, going forward. Because once again, I think Burden is not going to be that guy for another 3 years. I think you could have grabbed him a little bit lower. I think you could have grabbed another running back at that round. But overall, your wide receivers are high end. Like he
wide receivers and quarterbacks and tight ends are going to be carrying that team
100%. So if he does great with the tight end premium, he can knock it out of the park.
What I'll say, Jamie, is instead, and I'm just going to throw you just a couple of names that you could do. Again, this is from a returner aspect because of the way that his team was being made. And you brought up some very good points about when is Henderson going to start, how efficient is Robinson going to be, since he doesn't really have that security quite yet, we're unsure. There's a couple of returners that you could use to at least give you points while you wait, which is why I think a couple of names that you could always do if you ever are in a league with return yards. A couple of names are like Raheem Blackshear for the Carolina Panthers, a team that's not that great. And when teams are not that great, they often get more opportunities for returns. He's not bad.
You don't think that they're going to be a lot better this year? I think they're going to be a lot better this year.
Do you think they're a playoff team?
I think they're a 7 to 8 win team. And to the point where that you're going to, Bryce Young is going to really have a decent year moving forward.
I'm just giving him ideas with it being 0.25 returned. DJ Dallas on a Carolina team. Sorry, not Cardinal team.
You're saying this, but my question with that would be, like, is what do you think about these guys going? If you put them in as a starter to play, how do you do that? I mean, if it was best ball, I think everything you said about return yards in best ball, especially with the scores, it makes perfect sense because they're going to have those games where they're just going to explode. But are you going to put any of these guys in as your starter, as your third wide receiver, or as your flex?
For his team in particular, these are just running backs he can use as a filler until we know when Henderson's starting. Then you can remove them. That's all that they're there for.
When you want to put Henderson in, even if he's not, because he's going to get carries. Like I would still. I just know that I wouldn't get top end a lot
The
from him, but I think he's still going to get Travion Henderson is going to get touches no matter what.
The reason why I say that I say no is because even though if he's in a split backfield for now, let's say it's 50-50 or even 60-40.
And he gets, let's say he gets average 60 yards a game.
Well, I don't think he's going to average 60 yards if he's only on 50% of the carries. I just don't
think so. I think he's a more explosive guy. I think he does.
do.
He can have the average of 60 yards.
He is a better running back. I'm just saying that if he's not starting until, like you mentioned earlier, until halfway through the season, then you're relying on really Robinson. And so I'm saying that
you're not wrong. No, but my question is, can you bench them?
Oh, okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So what you're asking him to do is to bench Travion Henderson, who's going to have opportunity to rush the ball at any point in time, score a touchdown or anything like that. You're asking him to bench him and put this guy in who's going to be really depending on return yards, and to have a really good, because he's not most likely not going to get a touchdown. To really get a good one, he's going to say he gets 80 yards, 80 yards of return, which is stupid. That's stupid. You're only basically getting the amount of a 20-yard rush, a 25 yards or a rush, especially because you get first downs a part of it too. So why wouldn't you not just put Travion Henderson in?
So my argument would be if we're using that analogy, which by the way, 80 is pretty high. I'll be honest. 80 is high, but it's not
let's give you the best.
Sure. If that's the case, then that means that guy's getting 20 points. Because in 0.25, you times that by the 80 yards, that's 20 points. That's great upside for that. All I'm saying is that for his particular roster, until he knows, so for example, if Henderson started by week 2, then this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Okay, this is
even if he's not starting. Even if he's not starting.
See,
so do you not think he's going to get carries?
I trust the points and the point system of the league, and so if you go for a returner. Dynasty? Even in Dynasty, but granted, I'm talking about his case scenario, because in our case scenario for our teams, like the guy who picked Marvin Mims or myself, we're picking guys who also see the field already. Now, if Henderson does returns too, then yeah, it's a league winner right there. But obviously, he's not. The way the Patriots do things, they don't typically use their running back unless it was Gibson for a return role. I'm just saying for his particular role, until he knows when he's starting, then you can remove the returner so you get that more consistent basis, because you are only going to want returners that are on bad teams in this case. So like Eric Gray for the Giants killed it last year because the Giants are terrible and they're still terrible. So to me, even in Dynasty, for his particular case, for like a super late pick or even picking him off of waiver wires, I don't hate it. I do love Henderson. I will
only do it off the waiver wires. I probably would very rarely ever play him. That's the worry. It's the idea of playing him, and or in this draft, drafting him, knowing that you could have someone else that's going to have a higher upside with Bixby, or something like that. Let's just go. Even this, the last Mr. Irrelevant is Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, you see. Nick Chubb.
You understand what I'm saying?
I totally get what you're saying. I just have all this data and all this knowledge about returners, and I know what their upside can be with a scoring like this. That's just the only thing I'm saying. That's why with Dynasty, it's harder. It's like all the ones that you should get are at this point outside of a couple that are still on my list, because I still have 12 more that are on the list here. But there's a couple of them that are still there that you could get to be as a placeholder, or it could be regularly on the starting lineup. Again, it all depends on scoring. That's all it really depends on. In Dynasty, it's a little bit harder to gauge returners.
Don't you think? Because I like what you're saying, because I think Mims is a great.
Yeah.
Great
so like
Shaheed is a great, because you're going to get those. So everything you said before about you got to find guys that are on the field. If you got someone who's on the field and has the return yards, then yes, I am not looking for someone who's just doing return yards, because if I have Travion Henderson, who's going to get on the field and get, even if he's not starting, he's only have 15 carries, 12 carries, even not starting. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where this is where we're looking at. I mean, when David Montgomery was on the field and Jahmyr Gibbs was on the field, did he not get 12 carries? You know what I'm saying?
But let's not
that's
forget
where we're going to have.
That O-line though is also really freaking.
And TreVeyon Henderson you can find he's good with holes. He's got great balance. I think that I don't like the pick, but I think I just wanted to make sure everyone understands, because we're talking about strategy, that I don't want you drafting a guy who's not going to be playing for TreVeyon Henderson that's there. Now, if you're talking about we're going for Tuden, now what you're saying is very, very relevant. Everything stays.
Like I said, when it's Dynasty, that's all I'm saying, is that if you have holes, sometimes those returns, those top end guys like a Darius Davis, a Xavier Gibson, or a Black Shear for the Panthers, they can fill holes temporarily or even throughout the whole season. It just depends on the opportunity that's there, because that's the thing, is that I've read articles.
Nail on the hill.
Yeah,
I think nail on the hill with especially in bye weeks when you have your short on. This is not. And this is what I'm trying to say. This is not you don't take a guy out to play this guy, but when you have weeks when you're going to be looking at, you have to follow exactly what you're saying, and then look for these guys. And this is how you win leagues. Literally, what you just said, and having a list of guys that returns, especially when you have return yards. This is how you win the league. That's how.
Yeah,
I don't want you to taking out a guy who's going to, have the opportunity to play and then try to put him in. I don't think that's the right move. I think the right move is to have, when there's a bye week, you have a guy who's going to come in and all of a sudden get you 20 points. You're gonna be like, how the hell did he find that? It's because you're smart and you understand the scoring position.
Exactly. I do agree with that. I'm just saying that for his particular team, there's just a couple of players that he could use as a substitute if he needed to, because anything can happen throughout fantasy, as we know. But I do think Henderson's way better than the guys I listed: Blackshear, DJ, Eric Gray. I think he's better than them. Miles better. I'm just saying that I want Henderson to start. The sooner the better. That's all.
Okay.
The sooner the better he starts, everyone's happy.
So I had no idea you guys are still going. Just got a cup of rain. Rain walking the SBF lives in Chicago. Yeah, popped back. And the Steelers still going. Love it. Yeah.
Anyways, sorry for going on about it. I know we're over time, so I apologize.
No problem. So we're gonna run through my team real quick. Got Chase, Breece Hall, Taylor, Devontae Smith, TJ Warren, Pat Mahomes, Montgomery, Kelsey, Higgins, DJ Samuel. I don't know why I'm just blanking on that. CJ Stroud, Rashad White, Cole Kmet, Braylon Allen, Hollywood Brown, and Nick Chubb.
The Chubb Club.
Yeah, the Chubb Club. You can go ahead and talk about my team with it real quick. 2 minutes.
2 minutes, easy. I can do that. Okay. Love first pick. Even though I'm a fan of Jettas more, but I can't hate it. Jamar Chase, baby. Let's go. Breece Hall, you and I are on the same page with him. We both really, really love him. JT, and I knew you were going to pick him too at the 3-1. I already knew. It's like me with a Tracy later on. You and I both just have that guy we like.
A younger guy, I look at him as younger. I got
the Devontae Smith literally is I think a little bit better version of a Tyler Lockett in his prime. I just love Devontae Smith. Yeah. And then Warren, you made your case earlier of why you believe in him more than Colson Loveland. I think it's a great point because they really need a tight end. Mahomes, great, because later on you got Kelsey, Monty. You have 3 amazing running backs. I just want to point that out to people. You have 3 amazing running backs, and then you're going to get 1 year out of Kelsey, who's going to be easily a top 5 tight end. So that's great. Higgins, I really like that pick because unfortunately with Tank Dell being hurt, which is such a shame. Yeah, it's such a shame because Tank Dell's so talented. Deebo Samuel, he's great. And if they do decide to use him in returns instead of Austin Eckler, then you got yourself a borderline league winner right there. Congratulations. CJ Stroud, solid backup QB, and he's consistent. Keep that in mind, consistent QB as well. Rashid White, great backup for Bucky Irving, even though his efficiency did fall off last year.
Because you had Bucky Irving taking a lot more, but Rashad White still catches balls out of the backfield really well. So
Rashad White will have his occasional week where he'll just bust out like 20, 20 plus points and like, oh my God, he's amazing.
And he's gonna be on my bench.
Yeah, exactly. Watch, it's gonna happen, right? I actually traded for Shabbat last year after he went off. So, all right, let's trade you. Anyways, Komet. I actually really like Komet. You got him a great valuation because he'll still be the starting tight end there for at least.
Yep, he's my third tight end, so yeah,
exactly, solid all around. Then Brandon Allen. People were in deeper leagues were higher on him last year. He didn't really do what we wanted him to do, but that's fine. I think it's great, complimentary piece. Hollywood Brown, I like it, even though he seems to always be hurt. That annoys the crap out of me. He's got all the talent.
That's why you only could grab him at the end of the draft, and you think you got Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, and then Nick Chubb. Just solid all around backup because you know he's going to steal the red zone carries here and there. 100%. You know what he can do. He may not be as explosive as he once was, but it's Nick Chubb we're talking about here. For a last pick, you can take the shot on him. So overall, I like it. It's a very competitive team. It's got a nice mixture of you are wanting to win it this year, and even if you don't, the following years you'll be fine. Obviously, with starting 2 tight ends, with Kelsey leaving next year, you're really hoping that Warren takes a big jump year 2, and that Komet, wherever he goes,
still ended up as a number 8 tight end. So I mean, it's not like it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, no. I just hope that wherever that situation is, it's gonna be interesting. I
have no idea what's going to be in though. I have no idea. Yeah.
So I guess we can make an argument for next year tight end, but potentially,
maybe.
But overall, it's a well constructed team. It answers a lot of questions, and it takes some advantage of the tight end premium too, which is great. No returners, but that's fine because the way that you built this was purely based off of a dynasty perspective of a normal.
I think Debo's going to end up with a lot of punt returns, and he's going to probably get some kickoff, but he's going to be more punt.
That's the thing is that's why he's in my honorable mentions club because I'm unsure yet because again I do so much.
I think he's more of a punt return than he's kickoff. He's not kickoff. He's a punt returner guy.
Yeah. Either way it's a win if he does do that because then you're getting a wide receiver 2 who shoots up to wide receiver 1. That's what's going to happen because of the scoring. Whether you realize it or not, that will happen. Wide receiver 2s and 3s jump up a whole rank or 2 just because of the return aspect if they're really good at it. Just saying. Overall, love it. I do. It's definitely a competitive team for years to come.
All right, that is running. Let's go yours real quick. So we got Brock Bowers, Garrett Wilson, which I love, DJ Moore, who how can I not love him? You're right. Chase Brown, Chuba Hubbard, Bo Nix, Evan Ingram, Reed, Likely, Tajay Spears, Turpin, Mason, Eckler, Ford, Michael Penix, and Washington. Washington's really interesting. Okay, that's really interesting. Obviously, you definitely believing in your return policy, but the question is how many are going to start. I look at your team. You have 2 solid running backs. I mean, that's most people look at Chase Brown and Chuba Hubbard and not realize how good of a running back room you just did. Because they're going to get these are both guys are getting over 250 carries. That's what you're getting. You got guys that are going to have opportunities. So we talking about first downs because that's a side note, right? First down, you don't understand that these guys are going to get a lot of those. And Tajay Spears, if he becomes the man at any point in time, I know what they have there, with Tony Pollard. But if any time he becomes the man, you are looking at monsters right now. So they're high upside, not great pick, but there's a high upside to each of them. And it makes sense where you picking up so like Tajay Spears at 10th round. So I'm okay with that. You went Bowers, Ingram, and Likely. So is Likely, I think, is going to still get 600, 700 receiving yards. I think he's still going to get 5 or 6 touchdowns. That's just who he is. Evan Ingram could still be this reception machine. I don't think he is going to be as much a machine. That doesn't mean that I don't believe Evan Ingram is going to be a top 6 tight end. Because we have an argument doesn't mean I don't believe that. I totally do. Brock Bowers is a monster. That pick alone is a monster, and he's probably going to get you very close to your top 5 producing
numbers
players
for this fantasy league.
In this entire league. That's just what it is. I love Garrett Wilson, especially when you have Justin Fields. because I think they're going to really have a really.
I was hoping
Yeah,
Fields was going to fall the 15th round. I was really hoping he would.
I would have picked him up instead of Turpin because or Mason, that's where I would have been looking at Justin.
Oh yeah, no.
That's my only critique of your team, honestly.
For sure.
DJ Moore, number one. All right, Reed, I think he's actually the real number one. He has the most talent, so I like that pick. Yeah, Turpin. We know we already talked about the upside of that. We understand what's going on in Dallas. He's going to play too, so that's another good one. So I like that. Our arguments all belong to your bottom, your bottom five. That's our argument. But because I don't think you can play them all, and I think you have other guys you could have went into. I think Darnell Mooney would have been a better pick for you. I think Rashard White might have been a better pick for you. I think that you could have gotten a couple of guys that I think are a better one, but that doesn't really matter, guys, because at the end of the day, he has to run this team and he does it efficiently. And at the end of the day, if we ran this league, I'm sure I'll be seeing Alec in the finals. So I still think I give him a very high upside and I give it a very, very high grade. So
for sure. Ford, because I know he'll probably start the season, but we know Judkins can't take over. Like, come on now, 100%. But Ford,
I don't know. Sure, Ford. I think Judkins starts. I don't think Ford even starts the season.
That's fine with me because Ford always seems to get some carries here and there. He's a good quality backup there, but also
he is.
But also whenever he's a backup on the Browns, they always use him as a return man as well. So a lot of these picks later are purely so other people, if they understood the scoring, wouldn't get them. So that way, it forces them to have to beat me at their best. The only way they can beat me is if they play their best, and I love that. Penix is great. And Malik Washington, you said it was interesting. Real quick, love the guy, love the talent. And once Hill's gone, not only will he do kick return and punt return, okay, he's slated to do both this year, but he'll also be the wide receiver too.
That's why I thought it was interesting. I wasn't sure, but as being the last pick, if I was grading all the last picks in this entire draft, I probably put it second. Probably second.
Yeah,
second. Interesting. So
that was awesome. Thanks. Right. Thanks, guys. That was fun.
Real quick, what do you think about Kmet going to the Chiefs with Mahomes after Kelsey retires? I think that's a very big possibility, and I could see that being a handshake deal.
That could happen. I could also see Noah Gray just stepping in because Noah Gray did steal targets away from Kelsey last year.
He doesn't. He's not an inline tight end. So what you don't realize is a lot, well, not you, but a lot of people don't realize that the Chiefs are very big on 12 personnel. Correct. Very big. They run two tight ends out there 72% of the time. I know that sounds like weird. 72% of the time they go on 12 personnel, which is crazy because they have all those wide receivers out there and they spread it out. It's because Noah Gray is always spread out. He's never inline tight end. That's the reason. They're going to need to kind of replace Kelsey with another inline tight end. I think Cole Kmet can be that guy, that type of guy, especially as Loveland starts to take over. I think that's actually a really good forward-thinking type of thing.
Start those returners, guys. Start them now.
No, don't. Great show, guys. Thanks for the fun draft. 100%, guys. Thank you guys for coming and joining us. We had a good time. This is always great. I always say this is why I need to have 3 people there because you never want to start arguing too much.
No, of course.
Besides that, I had a great time. You guys are great. Thank you for coming in. Always you being there, support. I appreciate you. I cannot wait for everyone to do this. Watch you guys teams, pay attention to your leagues, guys. Understand what your other people are doing. Pay attention to the scoring system. Think about what you want for stacks. Think about who you think is going to have value knowing the scoring. Think about the positions that have shorter, great players. Grab those guys. I think you guys are awesome. Guys, good luck in your draft, and we will see you later.
See you guys. Thanks for coming out. Woo!